Hi, Alex here with Infinity Cubed Productions. I'm posting a follow-up to my BT3000 3100 series table saw alignment. I did get the blade within 1 or 2 thousandths of alignment by tweaking things as I showed in my previous video. Check it out. I also needed to align the sliding miter table. That was quite out of adjustment, probably from the previous owner trying to compensate for the blade being so far off. So the whole thing tracked off to the side. I'll show you the process. This is from the Ryobi manual of how to align this sled. You start by unclipping the front, or I guess you could consider this the back portion because the blade turns this way. This is the back end of the table sled. You loosen these two levers. You loosen these two screws right here. Angle this down a tiny bit. Hopefully this is in frame. I'm not going to do a reshoot. Alright, these two screws, you loosen them, and then you also loosen one screw back here, the one on the left. You leave this one as a pivot point, tightened. Once that's loosened, and you leave these locked in place as well. Once those 3 screws are loosened, you then have the ability to shift it back and forth this way. Once you have it, you can use a ruler or a square or whatever, measure off the blade, make sure to turn the blade so that you account for any wobble in the blade. If it's distorted, you're measuring from the same point on the blade. Just turn it over and measure from that point. And the same thing with the sled, the sliding miter table. Keep forgetting what it's called. You mark a point on the table and you measure from the same point. So measure from here, blade, turn the blade over, measure from here, the blade, then adjust this. Once you have it right where you want it, you proceed by tightening this screw back down, locking these two mechanisms, locking these two levers, and then tightening these 2 screws. It would probably work in reverse. You could tighten these first, but you might throw it back out of alignment a tiny bit if you don't lock these down first. Please feel free to hit me up with questions in the comments below. Now, another issue that this particular sled had was it was racking a little bit side to side. It was not perfectly straight with the base of the table. So unlock all of it, flip it over, and there are these 4 placement tabs here, 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 and here. Now these have a little bit of a cam lever action to them. When you turn these screws, you'll notice they back off a little bit or they tighten down onto the track. So what you want to do is tighten it down so that there's no more racking, but it can still slide freely. However, that may once again throw your sled out of alignment. So you may have to take some careful measurements, like I did, careful measurements from the edge of the sled to the edge of the track on either end. I took those measurements. I realized that this side was over quite a bit on this way. So I loosened both of these, shifted it over a tiny bit, measured again until I was happy with the alignment, and then snugged these back down just enough so that it was not racking, but it could slide freely. After I did that, I flipped the sled back over and I repeated the alignment process. I could not find any videos on YouTube. I know this is not the greatest explanation and I'm not actually demonstrating any of it, but I figured this is better than nothing. YouTube had nothing to offer as far as the actual alignment procedures for this sled. I had to figure it out just based on the manual and reading on the BT3K forums. So after everything is locked in place, you should be able to have perfectly straight cuts. and it should track perfectly straight with the blade if you were measuring off the blade when you did your alignment. Now the fence is a little bit easier. I'm not going to show that alignment procedure, and mine was pretty much dead on where it needed to be. So yeah, hit me up in the comments. I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know if you have any suggestions for my next video.